Stuttering Craig and the crew of the Real Gaming Awards hosted their show this weekend, and you know what? There was absolutely no melting down, no one overreacting. It was a breath of fresh air, except it was none of those things. We had a hate mob go after our developer because their trailer was shown on the Real Game Awards, and of course there's people wondering why AVGN was there, and then there's another developer that came out of freaking nowhere saying that they're going to bang their dog girl over the whole situation. Let's get to all that and more right after you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
JayViper is awesome. He's so good looking. He's got the crowd in awe.
So this is how it all started, and Grums breaks it down a little bit here. Indie game dev Selaco Games slammed Stuttering Craig and noticed that they've removed themselves from the tag because this group just keeps hiding, and they also like to live on Blue Sky as well, which tells you pretty much all you need to know about them. So they slammed Stuttering Craig and his Game Awards show for checks notes, featuring them for free because they thought it was a cool game. And that is pretty important here. Now, Stuttering Craig did not go around trying to find indie devs to give them money for the show, but it was simply people who voted, and Craig and them who actually went and found developers or trailers to present on the show. And if you ask me, that's pretty much the way shows should go, right? I mean, you don't want award shows to be just who pays the most and that's what you see, right? Don't you want to see what you're interested in? So apparently that's the wrong way to go about things. So of course, Alyssa, who doesn't even freaking play games, Washer Crack, who is Alyssa's alt account, and Airfag all went after them for the crime of being on the wrong show. Selaco didn't just cave to the bullying cancel culture, they embraced it, and that is the thing, because they said, whoa, I mean, they just started immediately like pushing back, like, we have nothing to do with this, it's not our fault, we didn't do anything. So this is Alyssa's alt account, Washer Crack, okay? Developers of Selaco, allegedly. Developers of Selaco game weren't informed their trailer would be featured in the Real Game Awards. The more I'm looking into this, the more I want to distance myself. Their game was advertised amongst mean-spirited categories, overtly racist animations, and problematic presenters. Of course, this is how they're going to frame anything anyone over here does. Of course, Craig is not anti-woke. He's not one of those people who really get deep into this. In fact, when you look at the Game Awards, the Real Game Awards, you could not say it was anti-woke. They featured games from all spectrums. It didn't matter. So the fact that their game is on here, Selaco, should tell you all you need to know about the Real Game Awards. They weren't worried about anyone's ideologies. It was games. That's it. Celebrate games. Show off games. But I guess that's too much to ask, to not have an ideology involved, or to have the whole gaming industry involved so they can sit around at a Game Awards and freaking have a circle jerk, because that's all these things end up being, is who pays the most and freaking jerking each other. I mean, let's be real. So Shin Dingbat says, complaining about free advertising on your product, LMAO even. And here we go. This is Selaco Game. This is the actual official Twitter account saying, when it comes to potentially damaging the brand we built from nothing, yes, absolutely. And that's perfectly justifiable. There's more to my life than making money, and I'll gladly sell fewer copies if it means not being associated with a hateful individual. This is a hell of a statement by Selaco, and I do believe that this account is run by Nextic, their lead dev, who does have a Twitter account, but they live on Blue Sky. And yes, we are going to go over to Blue Sky a little later and check out some things over there. Hopefully we don't catch AIDS by going over there. So these are some of the statements that they were made, and this, of course, is their Blue Sky account. So hopefully, you know, we're looking at this on Twitter, so, you know, we could get secondary AIDS from this. We will see. We have not paid for an advertisement for the Real Game Awards. I've never heard of it until an hour ago. Anyway, time to return to sleep. The more I'm looking into this, the more I want to distance myself, LMAO. We paid for nothing. I do not even know about this show. Clearly, they don't know anything except what they're being told about the show. This right here, I'm sure, only comes from what they're being told, right? They're being spoon-fed on Blue Sky, my friends. And when you're on Blue Sky, you're basically in Twitter 1.0 with crack. All right, so we're talking serious echo chamber vibes here. People who can't form their own opinion and they just look to see what their leaders are saying so they can finally form an opinion that isn't their own. That is Blue Sky in a nutshell. Everyone just marches like good little NPCs right in a little line. And as soon as anyone shows up that's not from there, and you can tell what those accounts are, man, they don't like that very much. But I think a better response from Selaco Games and Nextstick here would have been more along the lines of, games are for everyone. We appreciate them showing it. We have no affiliation. But again, our game was made for anyone who wants to play it. And that's really it. That's all they had to say. If they had to say anything at all, and really I think a lot of times ignoring the situation is the best, especially when you have nothing to do with anything, and the only thing that they could have had was a positive, but instead the hate mob had to come down on them and try to cancel them. I mean, that's really what was going on here. They wanted to cancel them, so then Selaco felt the need to defend themselves from something that really they didn't have to defend themselves from. There was no need to. It's a Game Awards show. Get over it. So I broke it down a little bit on Twitter, and so I'm just going to read this because I could not state it any better than this guy, okay? I want to be clear about what happened here and really just kind of break it down, right? A cancer mob who had zero interest in Selaco Games went at them and shamed them into a statement and stance that they didn't have to make. And we've seen this before, right, from the woke left, where they will go at something that they have no interest in at all anyway and attack it to try to make them change policy. They do this with advertisers. You see it all the time with game dev, of course, where they attack anyone who steps out of line. And you see it, of course, where they go after content creators and such, where they try to cancel them. It happens all the time. People that they don't support anyway, and they go try to cancel them with a hate mob. It's not just criticism, it's the cancelization mob. That's what they do. The dev team made the unfortunate decision to bend the knee to people who don't care about them at all and were only interested in making them bow in front of them. Now the dev team is spouting absolute nonsense about Stuttering Craig, actually making shit up about him, and the only group who supported him for free and without being asked to do it. And they are. I'm going to get into a little more of that because some stuff was actually exposed from the Selaco game Discord. That's a little later in the video. We'll check that out. They sold out for a day of kudos from nobodies who never truly support the games they care about, and for what? Nothing except to support the actual hate mob in gaming, which of course are the woke mob that like to cancel people for stepping out of line. That's the real hate mob here. I think that's something to remember as we move forward, because the people who actually throw hate, it's always them. They want to take away finances, they want to bend you down, and they want to do it through cancellation. They don't do it through their wallet. They will go and they'll go to corporate level to try to remove your voice, right? That's what they do all the time. They try to bend people at the corporation level. And of course, with this, it's an indie dev. They went right at the game itself. And of course, the lead dev response. This is how they work. And I pointed out that Selaco's currently having the worst weekend of the year, the smallest player peak, and they are down to number 2,407 top sellers on the Steam store, and I hope it was worth it. Now, this number is really kind of jarring, because one thing to keep in mind with the Steam store, right, is it's weighted for time. Like the last 3 or 4 hours count the most. So if you all of a sudden hit game sales, you'll go up the charts quite a bit. It makes a big difference. I mean, they were featured on the Real Game Awards. They are in early access. It's not fully released, but you can go buy the game right now. So they are on the charts for a reason, because yes, you can play, and of course you can see it right here. Here's just this year and a little bit of last year. We can see they had a nice little peak here through Christmas, and you see their little weekend peaks here, and they didn't quite make last weekend yet this weekend as of recording this anyway. And here's the other stats. This is from SteamDB, where you can see their top sellers is 2,407. So that's really what, maybe like 10 copies? I mean, I don't know. It's not very many, if any. And one thing to keep in mind is of all the games on the store, so many aren't played at all. Like 19,000 games, they said last year, had 0 players in them all year. That's crazy. So you don't want to see 2,407. That's not doing too great. Not that I would expect insane numbers for a little indie dev, but if the Real Game Awards is shown and you get bad publicity from it and people don't buy your game or don't actually look at your game like they were going to, well, I would have imagined that number would have gone up up a bit, right? But it didn't. So here we go. Discord messages found where the lead coder for Selaco Games is saying that Sergeant Craig and his show is an angry culture war desperate to find relevancy. So if they aren't relevant, then why are they mad? Why are they even talking about it? They could be like, oh, whatever, who cares, right? No, instead they just keep talking about it. And then, yeah, Grums points this out. It's like, this is real. You can't play my song at your rally vibes. So for me, there's no real reason to go and ask someone to show their trailer on your game award show. I don't see a reason for it. It's extra work that you don't have to do. And when it comes to fair use, I mean, in the end, it's just free marketing. So what are you doing complaining about this? It got put in front of thousands of people that watched the show live, but then there was also reactionary content going on where people were watching it with their communities. There was many thousands of people on top of that. It's very possible this got put in front of 30,000 people or more live, and that's before people reacted to the content afterwards. So anyway, he says they support Alyssa Washer Crack, again, that's Alyssa's alt account, Airfag instead as examples of their supporters they want. Exactly true. Now, here are the Discords. Now, this Nexic lead person right here is the lead dev. So this is talking about the Real Game Awards. No idea what that is, but the name implies it's hosted by a bunch of people who got so mad over something as stupid as an award show that they decided to host their own. So it's so stupid as an award show, then why are you getting all hissy? Am I far off? Oh, it's the Screw Attack guy. How do I undo our nomination? And here they say, he seems way too much of a culture war grifter and I don't have the energy for either side of those. What are you doing? A culture war grifter? Craig? They love throwing around that word. They love it. None of these people know what that word means. They just use it ad hominem. And here we go. I guess people go to desperate measures trying to find their relevancy again. Shame. I was a huge game trailers guy back in the day. The good people eventually reunited as easy allies, but they're also on the verge of collapse, I believe, unfortunately. Maybe because Easy Allies, okay, doesn't have an actual fan base because you fucking people do not support the things that you say you support. It's the Stuttering Craigs of the world that are doing well because the people who follow him and people like him are the ones who actually support them because they believe in the message. It's not just virtue signaling bullshit. These are people who believe in the message and they put their wallets and their actual presence and their full support behind them. You wouldn't know anything about that. You're running with this crew. Okay, so let's jump over to Blue Sky real quick. And again, let's just try to not catch an STD. All right, so here's the original tweets here that we already went over, right? So what I found interesting is that this person's upset that Stuttering Craig didn't say anything to them or didn't have permission or the fact that they weren't affiliated with the Real Game Awards, right? They want to make that clear. Well, right here, on Nextix's own social page, they're saying how great Doom Eternal is, okay? Now, it's not exactly the same thing, but come on, you're posting on your social media, YouTube again is social media, about a game that you didn't get permission to post about, okay? A game that you are actually trying to emulate, right? You're trying to be the next Doom or an indie type of Doom, and you're here putting it on your page. Are you trying to get in good with the Doom people so they take a look at you a little harder or what? Again, there's nothing wrong with your post and there's nothing wrong with you being on the Real Game trailers. And it doesn't really stop there because people are upset to see James Rolfe, also known as the Angry Video Game Nerd, AVGN, right? Not sure James Rolfe actually knew he was on the Anti-Woke Game Awards last night. Dude is mad tired. Okay. And then he says, I don't know, as an AVGN obsessive, I really think he didn't know what he was doing. He doesn't keep up with modern games or conversations around this stuff. Someone asked him to do a show and probably gave him some money and a promo space, and he said, sure. These are just wild, wild things to jump at. Oh, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's an old man lost on the internet. He is disconnected. The poor guy. They took advantage of him. At least Nextic was normal here, saying, didn't consider James to be a harmful person. It's poor decisions to speed up production that ended up biting him in the ass, to my knowledge. Not enough to give him the benefit of the doubt over over this. So again, not enough to give them the benefit of the doubt over this. So here we have Nextstick trying to say that you can have a beer with the guy, but at the same time, you're not going to give him the benefit of the doubt of being on the Real Game Awards, because now you're going to try to view people that were on the show as problematic, and that absolutely is one of their favorite words. I'm sure that's how they view AVGN now. Problematic. Starter and Craig in the Real Game Awards are problematic. Again, this is a game that it has done this. I mean, this is released into early access. It's just kind of puttering along right now as it tries to find some relevancy before release. And they had a chance at it. They were interested in it. And the lead dev even said that they were interested in money. I don't know about you all, but I think I'm going to do the thing that we have been doing for a while now, where we like to vote with our wallets. So you know what? Everyone put your hands like this. If you're going to do it, are you going to have your wallets open or closed? Because my wallet's going to be closed on this one. I'm not going to support a developer that's into this rhetoric bullshit. It's like, yeah, you know, I'd rather we didn't have to do this type of thing where we had to pick sides based on your politics. But when you're out here attacking a Game Awards show that shows you for free, actually try to build hype for your fucking game, and you don't want to appreciate it. In fact, you want to distance yourself from it because someone like Airbag comes up and said, how can you possibly be affiliated with the Real Game Awards? Did you pay for this? Oh my gosh, everyone. Selaco was on here. Everyone, I'm going to tag them. Look at them. They were on the Real Game Awards. It is so anti-woke and it's so broken. I can't believe I saw them on there, but I watched the entire thing because I'm absolutely fucking addicted to anything that's anti-woke, because it's all I watch, it's all I consume, unless I'm consuming my trans partner who, you know, I'm never gonna say girlfriend, and I'm never gonna say boyfriend, but you know, that's just absolutely what I'm gonna do. And let me go tweet about it. I'm gonna tweet about it because that's all I do. Airbag got canceled, so now I'm Airbag 1, but that's fine. It's a parody account. And before I forget, this developer won an award for making Nightmare Kart. It got Best Racing Game category. Now, I want to read this as best I can, so I'm going to read this, but it's gross. Okay, again, this is Blue Sky, and you might want to be careful listening to this one. So honored to have won the coveted Anti-Woke Game Awards Best Racing Game category is a trans woman. It's so comforting to see them prioritize diversity, equality, and inclusion. To celebrate, I'm going to have gay sex with my Melanie Macward transgender dog girl. So I'm just going to go ahead and get off that screen real quick, and I'm just going to close with this. The Real Game Awards is for gamers by gamers. I really think it's a really neat idea. And of course has an entry fee, okay, to be a part of it. But that's how they pay for it, because they want to do this in a live setting next year, and hopefully they can do that. Now, of course, it pales in comparison next to the J Awards, hosted and created by myself, but it's a really good other alternative. And I'll see you with the J Awards in December, so, you know, keep your eyes open for that. But again, no, this whole situation is just so ridiculous. Starting Craig is a good dude in the community, and I just want to point this out again, right? Here's the thing, is that this wasn't some anti-woke Game Awards. This was an anti-establishment award, because clearly we had Nightmare Kart, who was created by someone who is absolutely insane, right? Left woke mob lunatic. You got Selaco, made by the woke mob lunatics. And you know what? They were voted in by the gamers who actually were a part of this, right? They were selected by gamers. It wasn't about ideology at all. It was about games. And that's the point. It wasn't the industry pushing the bullshit down your throat and people paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to get their trailer on there. The advertisements were for free, and the gamers themselves were the ones who funded the entire thing because they cared about it, and it was for them. And you think about the pushback that came from the fake gamers, from the woke mob, okay? It tells you all you need to know. They are not here for gaming. They're here to just be detractors in this space. And it's why we should just point at them and laugh at them. And when someone tells us to close our wallets for the game, that's what we're gonna do. Anyway, that's all I have for today. Please like the video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so I can see you on the next one. I'm out of here. I love you, in peace. Bye, everybody.
He's owning every game.